Every few years, a veterinary pharmaceutical company announces a breakthrough. And every few years, we learn that the breakthrough wasn't a breakthrough at all, just the same mechanism, repackaged, extended, and reintroduced with a fresh label and the same biological risks. Today we're looking at Lenivia and Portela, the so-called next generation of osteoarthritis pain injections. But beneath the branding and polished press releases lies a scientific reality that's hard to ignore. These drugs are essentially reformulations of Librela and Solensia, with the same mechanism of action, but designed to last 3 months instead of 1. And that raises some serious questions. The scientific premise they don't talk about. Both Lenivia and Portela, like Librela and Solensia before them, target nerve growth factor, NGF, a molecular messenger involved in pain signaling. But NGF does more than transmit pain. It is part of the protective biology of mammals. When joints are damaged, NGF increases so the animal feels discomfort, rests, and avoids worsening the injury. When you block NGF, you don't just block pain. You shut off the warning system. The animal feels capable, moves more, loads damaged joints without restraint, and silently accelerates joint deterioration. That is not speculation. It is a documented biological mechanism. The rebranding, a scientific step forward or sideways. If these drugs were radically redesigned, new molecular structure, new pathway, new safety strategy, that would be one thing. But that is not what happened. We are looking at asterisk the same anti-NGF blockade, asterisk the same class of monoclonal antibody, asterisk the same physiological vulnerabilities, asterisk the same side effect patterns that emerged with Librela and Solensia. The only truly significant change is the part that amplifies the risk, the duration. And this is where the development culture becomes questionable. It feels as if a group of scientists sat down after years of mixed outcomes with Librela and Solensia, and instead of asking, where did the mechanism fail, they asked, how do we extend this to 3 months, as if the priority wasn't correcting the pharmacological issues, but prolonging product impact, uptake, and commercial continuity. Scientifically, this is troubling because if a drug with monthly dosing caused adverse reactions, extending it to 3 months doesn't reduce risk, it multiplies it. Once injected, these antibodies cannot be switched off. They cannot be metabolically reversed. There is no antidote. If a negative reaction begins on day 3, day 10, or day 30, the drug remains active for the entire 3-month cycle. It's not simply stronger medicine. It's longer duration immune manipulation, the language game, rare and very rare. Regulators allow pharmaceutical companies to use terms that often soften the perception of risk, asterisk common, asterisk uncommon, asterisk rare, up to 1 in 1,000 animals, asterisk very rare, reported, but without defined frequency. Owners often assume very rare means almost never. Scientifically, that is not true. Post-marketing reporting is notoriously incomplete. Owners may not associate subtle or delayed effects with the drug. Vets may not file reports. Long-term deterioration is difficult to categorize. So when Zoetis says Lenivia includes rare and very rare side effects, that does not mean the events are trivial. It means only that the company placed them in the lowest required frequency category. And for Portela, the absence of very rare Adverse effects does not mean they are impossible, only that they were not highlighted in the public summary. This is why the scientific community stresses frequency language is not a measure of severity. It is a regulatory classification, not a real-world guarantee. The larger pattern, same formula, longer window. From a biological risk perspective, the concern is clear. Asterisk, same mechanism. Asterisk, same inflammatory cascades. Asterisk, same potential for neurological signs. Same renal and hepatic stress pathways triggered indirectly through systemic overuse. Asterisk, same joint overloading due to suppressed pain. Asterisk, same immunomodulating effect. Asterisk, same concern that once the drug is in the system, you are committed to its action for the full dosing interval. The science has not changed. Only the timing has. And if the original monthly drugs already produced a pattern of concerning post-marketing reports, mobility collapse, behavioral changes, organ complications, then extending the pharmacodynamic footprint is not an improvement. It is an escalation. The final question, the true scientific question, is not, do Lenivia and Portela reduce pain? Anti-NGF drugs absolutely do that. The real question is, at what cost does that pain reduction occur? Because pain is not just a symptom. In arthritic animals, pain is information that protects joints, organs, behavior, and survival. When you silence that information for 3 months at a time, using a mechanism previously associated with significant adverse events, without altering the underlying molecular design, you create a situation where the animal appears improved while the biology is deteriorating, and that is a risk no owner should take lightly.